Oftentimes, people are afraid to be called crazy. They're afraid that they're going to be called weak.
When you bring up something like mental health or like somebody seeking health, and they say, I ain't crazy, I'm not crazy, what the hell, no, 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 no. When they say it like that, they're not just saying, I'm not crazy. They're really saying, I am not of low value. I am not weak. I'm not beneath.
The other thing we really have to acknowledge is mental health stigma is what is stopping a lot of us from seeking treatment. Did you know in the African American community, because of racism, socioeconomic status, and environmental factors, we are 20% more likely to be diagnosed with a mental health disorder. Yet, of that 20%, half will actually go get treatment. So if I just said hurt people, that half that never got treatment is the ones who continues that going from generation to generation. That
So, I mean, that's true, Basically, the fact that people are in a lower income, poverty, there's going to be more opportunity for hardship to take place. Hate that I use the word opportunity, but it's more likely that there's going to be different hardships, different traumas, different kinds of experiences that people of greater means won't necessarily have as frequent access to as people that live in poverty. People that deal with drug addictions, or family members, parents that live or deal with drug addictions. There's more opportunity for there to be mental illness. Hell, sometimes drugs can cause mental illness. Sometimes the trauma inflicted by the environment of the drugs, or the people that you care about or are near, that can cause mental issues. It can cause trauma and so on and so forth. Wherever there's more opportunity, more things will grow. And sometimes things can grow in like some of the worst ways. And once you get to a point where you have internalized that pain, that trauma, your perspective of it, then it becomes normal, right? So now you're not teaching your son anything bad. You're teaching him what you know. You're teaching him normal. You're teaching him how to live based on the events that you went through. And sometimes that means hurting them. Sometimes separately from that, sometimes people get hurt by things, or they have mental illness, or depression or whatever, and then they turn around and inflict that on other people, and they may replicate it in the same way, or it may come out some other way. It's such a weird thing. I don't know.
That's why we have to look at this as an important issue. The stigma around it. Oftentimes, people are afraid to be called crazy. They're afraid that they're going to be called weak. They're afraid, everyone tells me I should be able to do this on my own.
So, hate to stop it so soon. That's true. And one thing that I realized, or just if you listen to people talk, there's often two different things that they're telling. They're telling you the words that are coming out of their mouth, as Chris Tucker would say. But it's also how they say it, their body language and stuff like that. So, and where that particular statement comes from may be the truth. You know what I'm saying? And they may not even be fully aware of it. But when you bring up something like mental health, or like somebody seeking health, and they say, I ain't crazy, I'm not crazy, what the hell, no, 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 it's fighting words, right? Why are those fighting words? So when they say it like that, they're not just saying I'm not crazy. They're really saying I am not of low value. I am not weak. I'm not beneath the norm. You know what I'm saying? And we have to get to a point to where we can understand that dealing with trauma, dealing with mental illness, it doesn't mean that you have low value or no value. It means that you're human, right? Because humans go through things. We're genetically built to process things if we choose to do so, right? I mean, we cry, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not like a a Gen Z thing. It's not a millennial thing to cry, to have emotions. It's something that's been built in us. You know, it's a way of releasing steam or whatever. I mean, you know, sometimes it can get a little crazy, but I just don't want people to think that it's abnormal to feel anything, because that's when you start to hide from yourself. Like, that's when you start to hide from who you are or what you go through, and in that sense, that's when the things that you've gone through can be pulling your strings without you knowing it, right? Like, this trauma that you went through, it dictates your life, you know, and you're so used to it. You're so used to pushing forward that you don't realize it, you know, that it's not wrong, even though it is wrong. You're like, why are these things happening? Da, 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 da. You know what I'm saying? But like, it's because you have things pulling the strings. Like, your intentions may be good, but if your actions are indicative of something else, then it's going to come off that way, you know, or you're going to cause trauma in somebody else, or you're going to go after people that will inevitably cause you trauma, cause you more trauma. And then you're just confused about what's going on. Like, why is this happening? So yeah, let's see what else she has to say. I'm probably talking a little too much.
Well, let me bust that myth. If you could do it on your own, you would have done it already.
Mm-hmm.
And the other part of that is, the reality is, there's these 4 things called general causes that you didn't sometimes do anything. Why? Because we know that mental health sometimes comes from biology. Biology, that means it's genetic. There's possibly it just was passed from one generation to the next. It doesn't mean that person got it diagnosed. It still means, though, it's genetically there.
Yeah, it can run in the family. You know, you can have, I mean, just like there are like health issues, like, oh, okay, well, if your parents had cancer or heart disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, all this other stuff, it's possible that you could get it too, or you could have it too, because I mean, it's just in your DNA. You're more susceptible to certain things. Like, we're all just we're the same, but we're different, right? So just like that, there's also the mental health side, right? You may be genetically more likely to have bipolar or depression or schizophrenia, just different things, you know, if it's in your family and it just kind of runs through there. So yeah, it's true. But you know, she's the expert. So I'm just saying, I've heard this too.
Sometimes it's just chemical. Sometimes medications can cause it, different sicknesses can cause it, hormones can cause it. There are situations, death, divorce, a really bad situation at work. Yes, it can actually trigger a mental health disorder. Or sometimes it's environmental. Back to ding, 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 environmental. Sometimes growing up in extreme poverty conditions, violent conditions, abusive conditions. There are situations that, yes, can trigger a mental health disorder. So you didn't do anything to cause this issue, but nonetheless, the issue needs to be addressed.
Yeah. I was talking to a friend, Seven. He goes by Seven Unfiltered on YouTube. Feel free to check him out. I will link him in the description below. And I was telling him about how stress, trauma, stuff like that, it kind of inflicts pressure within us, right? And the thing is, like, in kids or something like that, or you know, just anybody, you can't always predict how that pressure, that trauma is going to impact them, like where it's going to come out. And I compared it to, I wish I had like a drawing of it or something. It's almost like a tea kettle, right? But it has multiple spouts, and each spout represents a different kind of personality disorder. You know, could be even like narcissism, codependency, just anything. You know, like different behaviors. You know, lack of value in yourself and stuff like that. Now the issue is that the trauma could be, you know, the water inside the tea kettle, or the heat at the bottom. I don't know, or maybe the heat is life, and the water is the pressure, right? You know, like what you're going through. Now the thing about it, like when it comes to kids or people, we don't always know where, like which spout this pressure is going to come out of. You know what I'm saying? But when it does, it's going to cause heat. You know, if you get close to it, it's going to be like destruction. You're going to be hurt, like, you know. it was something like that. And that's the thing, you know, we don't know how it's going to affect us. So we have to kind of be aware of what we're doing and where it's coming from, right? Like where is this negative emotion coming from? Because it didn't come from nowhere, right? Sometimes it comes from different experiences and stuff like that. So it's very important to be aware and live a life of intent, which I'm going to do a separate video on. Just live a life of intent so that you can be more conscious of your actions and where they're coming from. And that way you can kind of lay things in the proper place and put things in the proper perspective. All right. I don't know if that's it. Maybe it is. But yeah, I love this video. Very intelligent woman, goes by Chante Meadows. I hope I'm saying the first name right. Yeah, let's see if it's something else.
And so we have to do a better job of recognizing that mental health stigma is keeping us bound. It is keeping us suffering in silence, and we have to do a better job about it. And with that, I want to say we all have a responsibility to be mindful of the things we say. Help people not feel crazy. Help people not feel weak. So that means I should never ever hear someone call someone crazy again. I should never hear someone say, ooh, that weather is so bipolar. That's pretty insensitive to a person who may actually have bipolar.
Yeah, I know I'm stopping it a lot. I don't know. I feel like I have something to say, and I'm just gonna say it. Yeah, so it being a stigma is real. Like I remember it was just growing up in the 90s. There were a lot of different things that were stigmas, and mental health was one of them. And it's still something that's prevalent now. I don't believe that it's as bad as it was, but it's definitely still prevalent now. And like I said earlier, I mean, mental health, anything related to that, for some people, it was fighting words. I mean, I've like argued with people. I'm like, yo, this is what's happening. Like, no, it ain't, motherfucker. I'm telling you, man, something need to change. Shut up, motherfucker. But the more that we understand that it's normal, the better off we're gonna be. That's my personal opinion. You know, you can do what you want with it, whatever, but that's what I believe, and I'm basically siding with her. You know, the more we can understand that it's not that abnormal, the better off we're gonna be. Let's see what else she has. See what suggestions she has for this.
So we have to be mindful that the stigma is one of the main things that keep us from saying anything. And so my charge to you today is to take a minute and first think about, what are you doing? What are you saying that, one, could be judging someone and stopping someone from seeking help? And I ask you to create an environment that makes it safe for others to speak about their emotions and their mental health status.
So I want to throw something in here. I might cut it off. I kind of want to throw something in here. There's sort of this weird area where I mean, I absolutely do want more people to feel okay with having a mental health issue. I mean, it's not like the ideal scenario, but it's normal. You know what I'm saying? Like, we go through stuff. Some people have moments. Some people have to deal with it for their entire lives. And that's just kind of what it is. I want to create that kind of environment or play a role in helping. But at the same time, I'm also aware that there's a lot of people that do not care about that. They do not care about your mental health or what you may be going through. And they may, for whatever reason, whether they're going through something or whatever, seek to put you through some things. So I would just want to add that you have to protect yourself from those people, and you have to not seek that kind of environment, the more positive environment from everybody, and just understand that it's not you're not going to get it from everybody. It's just that's just what it is. Some people, they're not going to want to listen. They're going to want to do what they want to do, and that's just it. So seek refuge in people that are open to shelter. You know what I'm saying? Not in people that are throwing rocks at you with a baby in your hand. Weird metaphor, but analogy or whatever, but yeah. All right, that's all for this video. Hopefully it turned out good. It's my first reaction video, so it felt like it was a good topic. Mental health in the Black community. It felt like a really good topic. Like right now, Black History Month. It should be Black History all year round, but we're not there yet. But yeah, and with the recent passings of Chesley and Regina King's son, I mean, it just seems like a good topic to talk about. So yeah, if you enjoyed the video, want to talk, whatever, like, comment, share, subscribe, say what you got to say. And yeah, hit me up.